Welcome back to the Yellow River Builders. We're holding our position the best we can. Last time, we dueled a monster to a standstill, but we're quite injured for it. We're going to continue on and see what we can do here under the heaven. Day 2, Dawn's Reprieve. Dawn comes slow over the basin. The right flank has been rebuilt overnight. Tighter, smaller, harder. Your sector is reduced by casualties, but reinforced by new arrivals. 3,000 man commander Bang Jai with 2,000 fresh reserves. General Kai Fing rides the riverfront briefly, speaking with the officers who need to hear from him. A few words, then he withdraws. 5,000 man commander Chen Yu addresses the flank. He stands on a berm of dirt and broken shields. His voice is raw. He's not slept in 2 days, and it shows. The enemy tasted blood here. They'll come again, harder. He lifts his chin towards the horizon. Hold until the sun drops and the kingdom still breathes. Your surviving soldiers fall into step beside you as you walk to your position. Lao Yan, you got us through yesterday. Whatever's coming, I'm with you. Zhao Tiang, we all are. You answer without thinking. We all go home, all of us. They don't contradict you. Far down the basin, dust clouds rise. It begins again. How do you prepare for the second day? Clear the field, remove obstacles, drill a new formation, or check your gear. Our gear probably was damaged during that duel. Let's check our gear and demand repairs. Cunning, discipline, and scouting. You tighten straps, replace broken hefts, and sharpen edges dulled by yesterday's carnage. The work steadies you. Around you, the flank completes its preparation. Men check straps with trembling fingers. Officers shout their last orders. The wounded are pulled back. The dead are pushed aside. Someone mutters a prayer. Another splits the mud and grips his spear tighter. The dust clouds on the horizon grow larger, closer. The drums begin. Day 2, Thunder. General Jin Horan wastes no time. The moment light reaches the basin, he sends pressure forces against the left and center, just enough to pin them in and keep them from reinforcing anyone else. The right flank, something else is coming. 3 columns of cavalry sweep along the basin at full speed. The hoofbeats come in rolling waves, striking the ground under your feet. The lances catch the early light in a long, unbroken line. They're here to break you apart before the rest of the army can react. This is the thing that every infantryman fears. Not duels, not sieges, not the overwhelming numbers. Cavalry. The horses hit the cavalry line at full gallop. They don't break formations, they erase them. Lances punch through shields. Hooves come down on men who were already down. The weight and speed turn human bodies into something unrecognizable. You heard the stories, the sound of it. Your heart is going so hard you can feel it in your throat. Everything in you says, run. You plant your feet, because if you run, everyone dies. If you hold, maybe some of you survive. Commander Chen Yu shouts, shields up, right flank, brace, cavalry incoming. Your surviving soldiers tense beside you, eyes wide-eyed but holding. This is the first blow of the day. It's meant to kill you. How do you meet the charge? We could lock shields and take the impact. We could break their momentum before impact. We could pull back 2 steps, survive the charge. I feel like we lock shields and brace for impact. You force the line into a steady body, closing the gaps. If the cavalry breaks you, it breaks all of you together. The ground begins to shake. The sound of hooves is in your chest and your bones before it's in your ears. There's no more adjusting, no more thinking. The cavalry hits. Come on, you can do it, boys! Okay, that's not terrible. That's not terrible. Success with a cost. Your formation absorbs the impact. A rider's stirrup catches one of your soldiers in the chest and drops him gasping into the mud. He gets back on his feet, unsteady. The cavalry scatter past you and begin circling for another approach. The line wavers, but it doesn't collapse. The cavalry do not retreat. They circle instead, reforming, testing, waiting for infantry that will come in behind them. The men gather close and catch their breath. For a moment, no one is sure who is still standing. Liao Yan spits blood, wipes mud away. The shock of the charge fade. Your men reset their stances, shaking out their arms, stealing glances at the riders still circling beyond the line. The dust rises again past the cavalry's path. More shapes moving, more banners, more steel. Midday is not going to give you a rest. Day 2, the grinder. The sun barely clears the basin before the next wave strikes. Cavalry never left. They spent the morning circling, slashing at weak patches, trampling on the wounded, forcing officers to redirect lines again and again. Bodies lie in scattered clusters across the mud, dozens, hundreds. Farther along the bend, 2 entire companies are overrun before they can reset their shields. The mounted hammer crashes into a 100-man formation and breaks it apart in seconds. Dust and screams. Your sector holds, but barely. Your men breathe in ragged bursts, armor dented, shields splintered. The ones who survived the morning keep glancing around the horizon. Then you hear it, a drum, a deeper rhythm, infantry. General Jin Horan has timed it perfectly. While the cavalry keeps your flank twisted, 5,000 infantry advance behind him. Shields locked, spears forward. 2 pressures at once, that's the point of it. 3,000-man commander Zhao Shi rides past at full speed, shouting orders to tighten the bend. He cuts down the river and moves, but even he looks strained. Hold the line, close the gaps, bring the reserves forward. The enemy's pushing through, brace here, brace here. Cavalry remnants slam into weakened pockets, infantry crash forward in a wedge meant to split the flank completely. Your sector's hit by both. Soldiers are seriously wounded. Hooves thunder past on your left, slashing at exposed sides. Infantry slam into your front, spears jabbing over shattered shields. Every step costs more than the last. The right flank starts losing formation. The line bends, then buckles. A cavalry rider breaks through ahead of you, cutting down 2 soldiers before spinning in the mud. In a moment, one of yours is struck. A blade, a shout, mud in the air. You don't see it happen. When it clears, Zhao Qiang is on the ground, fighting to rise while the battle surges past. You do not have time to reach for him. Infantry press again. Cavalry wheel for another pass. Your commander's voice cuts through. Hold the right, hold it. The dead are piling faster than the living can step around them. Your breath burns, your arms shake. Your formation narrows without you ordering it to. The sun is barely past dawn. Infantry crash into your front. Cavalry remnants cut across your side. Your formation strains under 2 enemy forces hitting at once. Your commander's voice cracks across the chaos. Hold the right! Close the gaps, do not let them through! You must act before the line splits completely. Choose your response. Tighten the formation and brace against the infantry. Wheel your group slightly to cut off the cavalry flanking angles. Drive forward a few places to disrupt the infantry momentum. Open the line, bait them into the mud. I think we got to get rid of this cavalry. We're getting absolutely chewed apart. Wheel your group slightly to cut off the cavalry flanking angle. You bark for a partial wheel, shifting your front 3 men while keeping your rear anchored. It's not a clean maneuver. Mud resists, bodies slide, but you deny the cavalry a clean flank. If they want blood, they'll have to earn it head on. There's no time to reconsider. Infantry are already mid-stride, cavalry are already turning for their next pass. The air compresses around you. Sound narrows to impact and breath. They're here. The enemy hits. Okay. That's our best roll yet. Strong success. You wheel your group just in time to block the worst cavalry angles, then shoulder forward to break the infantry spear push. For a moment, the chaos levels out. Your sector stabilizes. Your men draw ragged breaths and relock formations. Across the rest of the right flank, losses surge. Distant screams, banners collapsing, men falling beneath converging blades. Your corner of the line is holding, the rest of the flank is not. The battle grinds on. Infantry continues pressing. Cavalry circle again, preparing for a third sweep. The right flank is bleeding faster than officers can plug new holes. A horn sounds from the enemy side, deep, rolling. New banners rise across the basin. The enemy general is not finished. The sun begins its slow fall, but the killing does not slow. The right flank is collapsing. Midday's assault left heaps of bodies scattered across the bend. Cavalry remnants still dart through the gaps, cutting at whatever they can find. Infantry wedge deeper with every push. Spears dripping with mud and blood. Your men fight on instinct. They are not choosing targets anymore. They're swinging at whoever gets close. Then you see it. New banners rising across the enemy ridge. 10,000 infantry marching in full blocks. General Jin Horan means to break the right flank before sunset and end the battle today. Formations around you sag under the sight. One group stumbles back without thinking. Another begins shouting for officers. The wounded sit down and stare, too drained to stand. If this wave hits alone, the flank dies. A horn sounds behind you, sharp and commanding. General Kaifeng comes down the ridge. He charges you at the head of 4,000 or 5,000 reserves, the last strength your army has left. His guard form a wedge around him, shields raised, blades ready. Whenever a horse pauses, exhausted horses straighten, the line pulls taut again. He plunges straight through the collapsing section of the flank, cutting down 3 men with the first sweep of his blade. His elites slam into the enemy infantry behind him, stopping a wedge that was seconds from opening the line. The right flank steadies, you can feel it happen. Men shout in relief. Your own unit adjusts formation without being told. Then the enemy reacts. A cluster of infantry surge at the general, desperate to cut him down. He wheels his horse, parries one spear, slashes another across the chest. A third blade gets through. It tears across his ribs. His armor splits, blood down his flank. A cry goes up from the soldiers near him. He does not fall. He drives his sword through the throat of the man who cuts him. His elites close around him, shields up, pulling him deeper into the formation so he can keep fighting. Blood trails behind him in the mud. The men on the flank see him up and fight harder for it. But the surge of hope lasts only a few seconds. A figure is walking amongst the bodies of your sector. Weighs 3,000 man commander, Gao Feng. He cuts his way forward, each step leaving soldiers broken in the mud. You don't notice him at first. You're too busy fighting for breath, too busy holding what little formation remains. But one of your men sees him. A soldier has fallen, unit strength -1. Man, can't we just have her shoot an arrow and kill him? The size, the armor, the blade already dripping. He understands what he's looking for. Babel builder, he screams. You turn around. He's already moving, lunging forward with raw, terrified shout to intercept what's coming. Gao Feng barely slows. His blade moves once, too fast to see. Your man goes down with a single stroke. Then his eyes find yours. Gao Feng steps over the body, mud splashing against his boots. He raises his chin slightly, looking at you the way a man looks at something he already knows how to finish. Behind him, a cavalry wheel for another sweep. Infantry crash into a battered line. Your general bleeds somewhere behind a wall of shields. In the ground between you, nothing else is happening. Your remaining soldiers are shouting your name. You can't hear what they're shouting. You can't hear their words. The enemy commander lowers his blade. A challenge. You step forward. A duel begins. Is this where we lie? At the yellow river in the mud? Gao Feng comes forward in a steady advance, his blade drifting in a loose, confident arc. He's measuring you, how you stand, whether you'll break before he has to touch you. You tighten your grip on your weapon. Your boots sink into the wet earth as he closes the final steps. How do you meet his opening test? Read the opening, punish the pattern, press him before he settles, set our stance, take the first blow. All right, yesterday, all we did was defend. We survived, but we didn't win. Let's go back to our orphan instincts. Read the opening, punish the pattern. You don't give ground this time. You watch for a shift you remember. Then slight lean, a tell before the strike. If he repeats it, you'll be there first. The battlefield does not stop for you. Infantry still scream, cavalry still circle. Your general bleeds somewhere behind a wall of shields. None of that matters. He takes one step forward, then another. The space between you collapses. There's no retreat. No help's coming your way. Come on, come on. Okay, that could have been worse. Okay, that could have been worse. You gain momentum. Success with a cost. You meet the first blow head on. Sparks fly between your blades. The force drives you back a step, but you recover. His eyes narrow. You have survived his opening test. The commander shifts his weight. His stance drops lower. His blade tilts down and forward. He's done testing you. All that noise, and you're just another pest to crush. Several enemy soldiers halt their fighting and watch. Your remaining men hold their breath. The duel is now a spectacle, the kind armies remember. His boots carve through the mud as he rushes forward, blade raised. How do we answer his charge? Okay, adjust our read, find a new opening. Overwhelm him with a new rhythm. Stay grounded. All right, you know what? Adjust your read, find a new opening. The pattern you learned is gone, so you stop chasing it. You watch him again, the shoulders, the hips. Where does his weight go before he commits? If he charged once, he'll do it again. You want to see it before it happens this time. He surges forward. The watching soldiers fall silent as the entire flank is holding its breath. You feel the killing weight of the next swing before it even lands. Come on, come on. Okay, acceptable. I thought I had a momentum. That may be our highest roll yet. Success with a cost. Your blade chips his forearm. He growls and shakes the numbness out before swinging again. The cut buys you a heartbeat, nothing more. Your breath burns in your throat. The commander circles you with slower, heavier breaths. Blood drips from his arms. Your own muscles tremble with exhaustion. The battle around you has gone distant. The shouting is muffled. You can hear your own heartbeat clearer than any of it. The sun is dropping. The mud at your feet has turned the color of rust. There is nothing left for you but the refusal to fall. He raises his blade. His voice is quiet. Fall. You don't. Your arms are shaking. Your breath scrapes your throat. The mud pulls at your feet like it already knows the outcome. He comes. How do you face the blow? Okay. Move first. Trust it's enough. Slip and strike. Hope you read it right. Hold. Believe you can make it. I have to believe that my instincts are correct. Slip and strike. Hope you read it right. You wait a heartbeat longer than it feels safe, then move. You think you remember the opening. You think. If you're wrong, there's no second attempt. The sun dips lower. For a fraction of a second, both armies slow. Everyone sees this. He steps in. You do not retreat. The final exchange begin. For the time between the seconds. Okay. It's double digit. Maybe the best we've done yet. Victory. You trust the opening before it disappears. This time, your read is true. In a moment that decides it, your strike lands clean. He roars and the sound carries across the basin. Enemy soldiers stop moving. Your men stare. He drops to one knee. His eyes find yours and hold for a moment. Then he falls forward into the mud. The right flank's executioner is dead at your feet. Your arm goes numb as adrenaline drains. You almost collapse beside him. Sunset horns echo across the basin. Enemy formations falter the moment their commander falls. Cavalry turn, infantry retreat in shock. The right flank should have died today, but it stands. Across the basin, Wei General Jin Huron tears a banner from a subordinate's hands and flings it into the mud. He is visible even at that distance. General Kaifeng is carried from the front, bleeding, half-conscious. No one knows if he'll live to see the morning. You're still breathing. The river still holds. Day 2. Survivors. Night falls on the riverbed. Torches blaze along the banks, flooding the mud with trembling light. No one sleeps. No one sits unless their legs give out. The enemy might attack in the dark, and every wounded man knows it. Medics sprint through the muck, hands red to the wrists. Quartermasters shout for water, for cloth, for wood, for splints. Stretchermen stumble past carrying men who no longer scream. Your general is gone from the front line. Rumors move through the exhausted ranks. Still breathing. Lost too much blood. Tent sealed. No word. No one knows if he will see morning. Your unit is no longer whole. Every report is carried to Jing Shang, 5,000-man commander of the Central Forces, now commanding the entire riverfront. He stands with arms crossed, listening to the casualty lists delivered under flickering torchlight. Right flank, 4,000 to 5,000 lost or wounded. Reserves nearly spent. Left and center holden for now. Enemy movements unclear. He gives no speeches, he nods once and says nothing else. Mud shifts behind you. Qin Yu, commander of the battlefield right flank, approaches. His armor is dented, his ribs bound in tight white cloth. Soot streaks his face. He walks like a man held together by will alone. He stops before you. I saw him fall, he says. The enemy's 3,000-man commander. Your effort made a difference, made him hesitate. And that hesitation bought our general seconds, he turned into survival. His hand settles on your shoulder, firm, heavy. General Kaifeng saved the right flank, but you struck something they thought unbreakable. You hurt their spirit. Everyone on the front felt it. He winces as he breathes, then continues. When the general wakes, if he wakes, he'll hear your name. See to it. He begins to turn away, then pause, waiting. How do you respond? I'll fight until my last breath. The men who fell today won't be forgotten. What would you have me do tomorrow? I'll fight until my last breath. You meet his gaze with iron resolve. He nods once, approving. Good. We'll need that fire tomorrow. The night stretches on. Your surviving men gather close. Across the river, enemy torches sway in long, jagged lines. Drums throb irregularly. War cries erupt without warning. Some of the men shout, if they're coming, come already. Others say nothing. They just grip their weapons tighter. No attack follows. The enemy general knows exactly what he's doing, keeping you awake, keeping you afraid, letting your exhaustion become another weapon. Eyes blur, limbs shake, your wounds throb with each drumbeat, but the right flank still stands, barely, and dawn is coming. Day 3, final breath. Dawn does not bring light. It brings smoke drifting low across the river bend. It brings the stench of blood turned sour in the cold. It brings the groan of the wounded who did not die quickly enough in the night. Your remaining men rise slowly. Nothing in them resembles the recruits who marched here 3 days ago. Their eyes are hollow, movements instinctive, bodies held together by will more than strength. The right flank is nearly unrecognizable. What was once a line of 7,000 is now a ragged skeleton of survivors, tightening straps with trembling hands. General Kaifeng does not emerge. Word spread. He lives, but he's too weak to command. He's being tended to by medics in the tent far from the front. Command has shifted. 5,000-man Commander Chen Yu stands atop a mound of broken shields, surveying what remains of the flank. His ribs are bandaged, his face is drawn. His voice still cuts through the cold. The enemy failed twice. Today they'll throw everything they have. His gaze moves across each formation. They want the river. They want our kingdom's throat. This flank is the last stone in their path. He points towards the horizon, and they know we barely stand. Your men swallow hard. One wipes mud from his eye with a shaking hand. Commander Chen Yu lifts his chin. But we're still here, and that is enough to make them bleed. He steps down and leaves the final preparation to the officers. Your breath fogs in the cold. Your wounds ache. How do you steady your shattered sector? Let's see. Clear fallen weapons and shields to create stable fighting lane. Recognize your remaining troops into a tight, desperate knot for shock absorption, or inspect weapons and armor, demand last-minute repairs. I mean, how many repairs can we still get at this point? Let's reorganize our men into tight, desperate knot for shock absorption. I have a feeling we're going to get cavalried again. You pull scattered survivors in a compact wedge, shoulder to shoulder, breath against breath. They meet your eyes, listen carefully. The work is finished, your hands stop moving. There's nothing left to adjust, nothing left to sharpen, nothing left to prepare. Around you, the right flank settles into silence. Men sit on broken ground. Some stare at the horizon. Others close their eyes and breathe slowly, as if storing each breath for what comes next. An officer walks past, checking the line one final time. He pauses beside you, nods once, and moves on without a word. Across the river, the enemy banners begin to shift. Day 3. The blade falls. Jin Horan has lost all patience. For 2 days you've bled him, stalled him, made him pay for every step with bodies he can't afford to lose. Another day of this would cost him the war. So today, he commits everything. Every cavalry unit that can still ride, every infantry formation still holding cohesion, shock troops, reserve companies, veterans pulled from the flanks, banners tilting forward across the entire line. Only his personal guard remains behind, a tight cluster of maybe 2,000 surrounding his command position. That is all that he is keeping back. I wonder if our 5,000 men are flanking him. I hope so. Because he knows your force is down to a few thousand, exhausted, wounded, running on nothing but spite and desperation. He sees the math, and he's betting everything on it. Your men watch the horizon darken. The sound of 1,000 boots shake the earth, shadows stretching across the basin. One recruit whispers, voice cracking, "Are we meant to die here?" Another barely audible, "We can't stop that. No one can." The horn sounds. No reinforcements crest the hill, just the grinding weight of what's about to hit you. Their eyes turn to you, waiting for strength you're not sure you have. How do you steady them when the end feels certain? Listen to me. We die only if we break. Stay with me. Look at that wall. Let it come. We'll make them pay for every step. Breathe. One more battle, one more hour, one more heartbeat together. Yeah, I think that one. We have a little bit of battlefield glory that we can lean on. You touch their arms, steadying their shaking. They're ready to fight for each other. Their boots drum in the earth. Their banners snap. Your men brace for impact. The enemy horns. The entire midline halts. Officers look backwards in confusion. You follow their eyes and see banners rising behind them. 5,000-man commander Liu Xing charging downhill into the enemy's rear. If they do not fall back immediately, their general dies. At that moment, your own general emerges from his tent, barely standing, bloody, swaying, but alive. His voice is raw whisper that cuts through the chaos. Pin them down. This is your order. If you buy the hammer a few seconds, the battle ends here. Your men look to you. How do you pin them down? Let's see. We can lock shields and grind forward. We can surge forward and lock them. Rally the scattered multiple threats. I think we're gonna... More men means more sword arms. Rally the scattered, multiple threats. You pull broken squads together, creating threats from unexpected positions, keeping their attention divided. You see it clearly now. If they turn, they live. If they stay, they die. So you give them no choice. You crash into them. This is my moment. 15's not bad. Strong success. Have we ever gotten a strong success? Your unit locks together and holds. Enemy troops slam into you and rebound. Their momentum breaks and confusion moves back through their ranks. You have brought the hidden allies a full opening. The sound hits before you see it. From beyond the enemy lines, banners raise, fresh, unstained, moving with certainty of troops who haven't spent 3 days bleeding. Commander Liu Xing, 5,000 cavalry, moving at full speed. They hit without hesitation, and whoever is in the way becomes the road. The enemy rear collapses. Soldiers who were pushing forward suddenly twist around, trying to face a threat coming from behind. Formations buckle, flanks cave in, and Liu Xing doesn't stop, doesn't engage the main force, doesn't get dragged into a grinding meat of battle, cuts straight through one target, Jin Huron's personal guard. You don't see the moment it happens, you're too far. The chaos is too thick. Dust and bodies and screaming mass of thousands of soldiers, realizing the ground is shifting beneath them. But you see the result. Jin Huron's banner, untouched for 3 days of hell, jerks, twists, falls. For one heartbeat, the battlefield freezes. Then the sound arises. Thousands of soldiers realizing their general is dead, and the man who brought them here and promised them victory is gone. Liu Xing carved through the elite guards. Elite formations threw themselves forward in waves to stop the cavalry before they reached the general. Shields raised, spears braced, the best soldiers Jin Huron had left. It didn't matter. Liu Xing went through them one at a time. The last distance was the hardest, but he got to the general and took his head. Retreat horns sound, but it's too late. The enemy does not retreat, they break. Officers abandon formation, soldiers throw down weapons and shields. The organized war machine becomes a stampede, scrambling for any direction that isn't here. Men trample each other, cavalry units scatter, entire companies dissolve into the landscape. Kai Fing lowers his sword, his hand shaking from the weight of still being alive when he shouldn't be. Around you, your men stand frozen, too exhausted to cheer, too broken to proceed. Process that they're not corpses yet. You live another day. You're not sure how. Your remaining soldiers drift forward, battered, swaying, eyes glassy but alive. You reach out and steady them, gripping shoulders, forearms, anything. What do you do? Rush them, breathless, make sure they're standing. Move down the line, check bodies in gear, meet their eyes one by one before turning away. Let's check the bodies in gear. You don't stop moving. Hands on arms, backs, helmets. Stay close. Count heads. We move together. No one argues. They fall in close. The battlefield begins to quiet. Orders are shouted across distant positions. Wounds are carried towards a medical tent. Someone is counting bodies. Your unit moves back towards the camp line, slow, unsteady. No one speaks. There's nothing left to say that blood hasn't already written. Day 3, cost of victory. Night settles over the battlefield that no longer feels real. Medics still drag the wounded towards lantern-lit pavilions. Surviving officers walk like ghosts, delivering casualty lists from shaking hands. The river's edge glows with torchlight, reflecting victory no one fully believes. You and your surviving men stand amongst the remnants of the right flank, too tired to speak, too alive to collapse. Horn sounds, a low, mournful note reserved for the fallen. Every soldier straightens, every whisper dies. Commander Jiangshang, now acting commander of the entire river defense, steps forward holding a slate of names. His voice is rough, scraped raw by 2 days of shouting orders. Names of the dead. The list is long enough that soldiers look down rather than meet each other's eyes. Your own breath tightens as familiar names drift into silence. When the final name is spoken, he lifts another slate, a smaller one. And now, promotions for service under impossible strain. You do not expect to hear your name, but you do. 5-man leader Babel builder. The murmur moves through the battered formation. You step forward. Commander Jingshang studies you with a hard recognition of someone who has seen your actions written in blood. For holding the line, for striking down the enemy's 3,000-man commander, for keeping soldiers alive when collapse was near. He rests a heavy hand on your shoulder. You are promoted to 10-man leader. Wow. I mean, we did kill a 1,000-man leader. Could we get a couple extras? How about 11? The messenger places a small lacquered token in your hand, a carved strip denoting your new authority. It feels heavier than its weight. Behind you, Lao Yan and the rest of the surviving men straighten, proud, exhausted shadows in the firelight. Commander Jing Shang continues, you will not return to the recruitment camp. You and your unit are reassigned by direct battlefield recommendation. Another figure approaches, 5,000 man Qin Yu, rib bandaged and armor dented. He looks you over, slow and deliberate. You're coming with me. There's a place for you under my banner. You'll rebuild your 10-man from survivors and newcomers at my camp. He nods once, not to acknowledge your promotion, but to acknowledge you. You've earned it with blood, and he knows it. The ceremony ends not with fanfare, but with exhausted. 5,000-man commander Qin Yu waits at the edge of the firelight, patient as stone, ready to take you to your new command. The Chronicle has written your name in fresh ink, but the ink is still wet, and the war is far from finished with you. Get some sleep, Qin Yu says. We march in 2 days. You don't sleep. Every time you close your eyes, you see a blade coming down. Feel the mud grabbing your boots, the smell of copper-thick air. Day 1, your hands won't stop shaking. Day 2, they stopped. Day 3, they moved before you thought to move them. You turn your head, hands over in the darkness, same hands, but something in you has shifted. We've developed a new trait. The realization sinks in and does not let go. Silent guardian. A truth you had no choice but to learn when the world tries to erase you. You held positions no one asked you to hold. Absorbed pressure meant for weaker units. Selfless defense that saved strangers. 3 days of war. That is what they left you with. A scar that can't be seen, but that you carry with you and the rest of your life. Well, that's not what I wanted. I want to look at my traits. This one. All right, so we have quiet wall. You protect without demanding recognition. Your defense works even when no one notices. And silent guardian. Holds critical positions without drawing attention, stabilizing weaker sectors. Okay, so we're gonna become like a major defense pillar, maybe. The realization sinks in and does not let go. Silent guardian. A truth you had no choice but to learn when the world tried to erase you. Oh, I read that already. 2 days later, march to camp. The riverfront disappears behind you in a haze of smoke and stench of unburied dead. What was once a thrown-together force of border guard troops and half-trained recruits is now a column of veterans, wounded, limping, hollow-eyed, marching under the banner of 5,000-man Commander Chin Yu. 2,000 walk, another 2,000 ride in carts. No one speaks loudly. Every step carries the weight of the men expected to die yesterday. Rumors move through the column. General Kaifeng is alive, breathing again. They say he woke long enough to ask for the casualty reports. He's recovering. Every whisper softens something in the faces around you. A living general means the world has not ended. The march lasts several days. Wounded ride in wagons, others lean on spears or each other. Your surviving men move close, quieter than you remember them being. On the fourth evening, the horizon opens. The camp. Commander Chin Yu's headquarters spread across a terraced hillside. Watchtowers, training yards, beaten flat by years of drills. Rows of tents and timber longhouses arranged with a veteran's precision. As the column enters through the northern gate, workers, smiths, scribes, and junior officers pause to watch with the quiet respect reserved for those who survived a thing others cannot imagine. An adjutant steps forward, saluting the commander. Survivor lodgings prepared, Commander. Commander Chin Yu gives a single nod. The adjutant turns sharply and raises his voice. All new attachments to Commander Chin Yu formed by squads follow for lodging assignment. Orders move through the survivors. You and your remaining men fall into formation and follow the adjuncts up the terraces. Your lodging is a simple timber longhouse, spare, dry, and stable. A luxury compared to the 3 nights of blood-soaked mud. Your men collapse onto bedrolls without ceremony. One murmurs as he slides down the wall. Feels strange, walking away from a battlefield. For the first time in days, night passed without steel or screams. A week later, the camp wakes to the sound of arriving boots. Fresh recruits, replacements, transfers from inland garrisons. Dozens climb the terraces, carrying assignment scrolls and uncertain postures of soldiers about to be thrown into somebody else's war. A runner appears at the doorway. 10-man leader Babel Builder, report to the southern yard. Your newcomers have arrived from the recruitment barracks. You step outside. Your men rise with you, tired, scarred, but standing. It's time to rebuild your unit. Your 10. The southern yard fills the sound of boots and shouted orders. Rows of fresh recruits, transfers stand with assignment scrolls clutched against their chests. Some look proud, some look terrified. Some just try to look like they belong. The scribe approaches with lacquered tablet. 10-man leader Babel Builder, by record of river engagement, these soldiers are now attached to your file. He unfurls the scroll. Casualties in your file, 1 recorded. He taps 3 names at the end of his brush. These 3 carry notable instructor remarks from training barracks and border drills. Their records stand out. He steps aside as the assigned soldiers line up before you. Ma Chao, Zhu Liang, Li Fing. 3 additional rank-and-file recruits stand behind them. Their strengths will show in drills and battle. Your surviving men shift behind you, studying the newcomers with quiet intensity of soldiers who know what kind of hell awaits them. One of your veterans murmurs, "Look at them, just like we were." Another one answers in a low voice, "Not for long." The scribe salutes. 10-man leader, they are yours. You lead them up to your lodging on the second terrace. They follow in a loose, unsure line, trying to match the steps of veterans who already carry the river in their eyes. At the doorway, all eyes turn to you. How do you welcome your new unit? Can we see them? We can, okay. So we got our OGs here. Liu Yang and Zhao Tiang. I guess he survived his wound, that's good. And we've got a blue and 2 more commons, so... No, I can't organize them. All right, so our better of the 2, or better of the new 3, Mao Chao. Mao Chao comes from a minor noble family that lost its status generations ago. He carries himself with pride that no longer matches his circumstances, convinced that battlefield achievements will restore what his bloodline has lost. He rides like someone born to it, handles horses with natural confidence, and volunteers for every dangerous assignment as though proving something to ghosts. His ambition burns visible in everything he does, and it will either forge him into something exceptional or consume him for trying. Watchful shepherd. Anticipates danger and directs allies away from high-risk exposure. Concentrates force to rupture enemy lines quickly, accepting cost to secure decisive advantage. And unyielding. Maintains cohesion under extreme strain, resisting collapse even when outnumbered or exhausted. Alright, I'm a little worried about this overwhelming force, but otherwise he seems like he'll fit in well. Shu Liang grew up on a horse ranch that supplied mounts to regional marshal until bandits burned it down and butchered every horse they couldn't steal. Zhu Liang speaks more of horses than people, communicating through touch and breath in ways that unsettle other riders who rely on reins and commands. He enlists because horses still need him, but men make him tired. During training, instructors noticed he could calm panicked mounts after mock charges when others couldn't get near them, and the soldiers wonder if he understands animals better than he understands people. Maintains operational effectiveness under extreme strain. He's unyielding. Spear tip. Leads from the front, driving formation-based advances through belief and momentum. Okay. You sound exactly like what we might need. I'm imagining that we're gonna be the iron wall until the enemy breaks upon us, and then we charge forward and swipe them off the board, just like we did it at the Yellow River. Li Feng grew up watching his older brothers leave for war and never return. He joined expecting to die quickly, but discovered during training that fear makes him root deeper rather than scatter. When mock battles collapse into chaos, he's the one still standing where he was told to stand. Not from bravery, but from a certainty that moving means dying like his brothers did. He has not held a real line yet, but instructors recognize the quality that makes men unmovable. Stubborn resolve. Great. Linked bulwark. Creates cohesion so strong that individual weaknesses are absorbed by collective defense. And unyielding. Okay. Not bad. How will we welcome our new units? You're one of us now. You will learn fast. You survive the march, you'll survive the rest together. Eat, rest, tomorrow we become one unit. Yeah, you're one of us now. You'll learn fast. The air sharpens. Some recruits straighten, some swallow. Your veterans understand your tone. The day passes in a rhythm of soldiers learning to breathe as one. Around the fire, your veterans tell stories of the riverfront, the mud, the screaming, the moment the flank nearly broke. The newcomers listen with wide eyes, some leaning forward, some gripping their knees. Lao Yan describes the duel, voice low and steady, how the enemy commander fell. The newcomers glance at you differently after that. You watch them, learn their names, notice who asks questions and who stays silent, who sits close to veterans and who keeps distance, who has the eyes of someone who might survive. By nightfall, they're no longer strangers, not yet brothers, but no longer strangers. At dawn, a runner appears at your door. 10-man leader Babel Builder, report to 100-man captain's pavilion. Your men go quiet. You straighten your cloak and follow the runner up the terrace steps. The pavilion is a broad frame of oak beams and red cloth, open to one side to the training yards. Inside, a single man sits at a low table. Cao Rinhai, 100-man captain. His hair is threaded with gray. A thick scar cuts from jaw to ear. He does not stand when you enter. 10-man leader Babel Builder. His finger taps the scroll. Sit down. You kneel across from him. An adjunct passes him a scroll. Cal Rinai reads it without saying anything for a while. River engagement, right flank, 3 days. Held the bend under cavalry and infantry. He looks up briefly, then back to the scroll. Kept cohesion when it should have broken. Dueled the enemy's 3,000-man commander. Officer killed. He sets the scroll down and looks at you properly. I am trying to decide, he says, whether that kind of thing a soldier does because they're good or because they're lucky. If you had died in that duel, what would have happened to that flank? How do you answer? Someone would have stepped up. The flank would have broken. I held a piece of it together. Doesn't matter what I think. The flank held. It's the only thing that's the only line that counts. Let me think. The flank would have broken. I held a piece of it together. One corner of his mouth twitches. Confidence. It's a blade, useful but dangerous. His finger stops on your name. We'll see how you wield it. He rolls the scroll closed. 10 men. He sets it aside. 10 lives and 10 ways to fail them and yourself. He opens another scroll. Within that 10, we form smaller units, 5-man leaders. You may recommend 2 soldiers, recommendations only. Approval remains with me and the officers above me. His eyes narrow a fraction. Think carefully. A poor leader kills more men than any spear. He gestures for you to speak. Who do you put forward? Okay, so we have veterans of the river and we have newcomers. River veteran stood beside you when the flank bent and did not break. We're definitely doing Lu Yan. Balance proven. Yeah, see, that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Yeah, we're kind of relying on the colors, but watchful shepherd, overwhelming force. That gives us a little bit of maybe some offensive oomph, but he's also pretty unbending. Only Lu Yan, no one else is ready. Yeah, let's do balance, proven, and potential. I mean, they took a chance on us too, right? Like, we were pretty much a complete failure in training, but our stubbornness proved and earned us a chance. Your balance, proven, experience with fresh potential. He grunts. A veteran and a talent, he says. Balanced if talent holds. He writes for a moment. Lu Yan approved as 5-man leader. Mao Chao served as acting subleader under your eye. If they're still alive after the next engagement, we'll confirm. Go, make your 10 into something that doesn't die easy. You leave the pavilion. He's already working on the next report before you reach the doorway. Your command is expanded. You can now assign officers to specialist roles within your unit. Assigned roles grants situational bonuses to role outcomes. Officers can be reassigned outside battle. Removing an officer from a role may affect loyalty. Okay, so we have 2 trusted. Okay, so we can move them around. We have a first lieutenant and a second lieutenant. That's probably what we do. I think we put our veteran in first and we put our second there. And I can't move you guys around, right? Yes. And these don't tell me anything about what they do. Nice, so I'll pop up there for a second. I guess not. Okay. Shaping the file. Your unit's small, 10 souls including yourself, but every army, no matter how battered, must define its bones. Under higher ranks, companies divide into vanguard, line, scouts, archers, support, engineers. With only 10 men, your structure is not separate squads, but intent. How you file will move, hold, strike, and survive. Calvinize words echo in your mind. Make this 10 into something that does not die easy. You gather your soldiers outside your quarters, all watching you with the wary respect earned on the river. How will your 10-man unit operate? Okay. Line core, tight cohesion, disciplined ranks. Forward pressure, aggressive shock engagement. Mobile, flexible, aware. Mixed, practical, adaptable, hybrid. It's 1 or 4 here. Line core, tight cohesion, disciplined ranks. Or we could try to be a little more flexible. I imagined us to be a little more flexible. No, I think we're in a line core. Tight cohesion, disciplined ranks. You set your strongest shields at the front, your steadiest men in the middle. Orders are simple, clean, unbroken. Your file becomes a knot that does not loosen. You walk down the line, adjusting grip, spacing, posture. Your chosen 5-man leaders step forward. Liao Yan takes control of half the file while Mao Qiao watches and mirrors, learning command through imitation. When you step back, the file stands differently, clearer, more certain of itself. Cal Renai passes nearby and glances at your formation once, says nothing, keeps walking, but the glance means something. Night settles over the camp. Fires crackle amongst the terraces. Most soldiers sleep where they sit, but your file remains awake. You gather your 2-man leaders around a low lantern, faces shifting in amber light, bandages stark against exhaustion. The river battle taught you what breaks men, what keeps them alive, and what your own hands reach for when everything fell apart. From here you say, we choose how we fight. What formation do we drill into them first? Alright, iron wall, lock shields, endure impact. Yeah, that cavalry really messed us up. Crescent pull, draw them in and then collapse. Spear point. Violent edge, breakthrough, scatterline, flexible, disrupt, scout. This sounds like we're using our brain. Let's do the crescent pull. Draw them in and then collapse. Your leaders exchange glances. Subtle, dangerous, clever. A formation meant to think as it fights. Your file takes in the concept, weighs it. No one moves, no one speaks. They understand what this choice means. A formation is not a pattern, it's a promise. Crescent pull is the seed of something far larger than tonight. For the coming weeks and months beyond, your 10-man unit will hammer this idea into them. Morning after morning, you drag them onto the training terraces. Evening after evening, you correct spacing, grips, footwork, angles of advance and retreat. Your file will rise before dawn, collapse after dusk, and sleep with the formation still echoing in their muscles. By the time the next battle horns call the army to march, your men will not merely know this formation, they will become it. Tonight, though, it is only the first spark. The grind. Weeks pass. Dawn after dawn, your voice echoes across the terraces. Your 10 rise with the stiff backs and aching legs, but they rise all the same. The formation you chose, crescent pull, begins as a rough idea, sketch in the mud. A pattern they stumble through, but repetition forges men. Shields lift with cleaner timing. Footwork sharpens, spaces tighten or loosen as required. Breath falls into a unified cadence. Your 5-man leader grow into their roles. Lao Yan drills the newcomers with quiet steadiness, while your second leader pushes the slower ones with sharp commands. Some nights you correct stances until torchlight dies. Some mornings you drill until the sun burns away the mist. The terrace becomes your anvil, and your men the steel. Morale changes too. Not cheerful, never that, but settled, committed. They are no longer a handful of survivals, they are a formation with purpose. During a rare evening rest, the 5-man leaders sit beside you. Whatever comes next, we won't look like raw recruits anymore. We'll hold, or we'll break together. Better than breaking alone. You sit with that for a while. Neither of you says anything after it. One more week of drills before the horn sounds again. How do you spend it? We could sharpen discipline and timing, emphasize unified beating, command response, and formation tightness, strengthen morale and camaraderie, spend time speaking with them one by one, refine terrain sense and adaptability, run drills across the slopes, brush, and uneven grind, harden aggression. If we're gonna do this crescent collapse, I kind of feel like maybe we should get a little bit better at terrain. Your men learn to read the ground as well as they read steel. By the end of the 3rd month, your 10 stand straighter, more cleaner, react faster. Their eyes no longer wander. They have the look of soldiers who have forged, not merely trained. A formation has taken form. A file has become a unit. Soon battle horns call again. The difference is within. No army survives a battle without gathering ghosts. After weeks of drills, the camp settles into a rhythm, but beneath the surface, fault lines show. Tonight, a disturbance reaches your unit. 2 soldiers stand apart from the fire pit, voices low but sharp enough to cut the quiet. Zhao Tiang, a river veteran whose blade shook through the first battle, and Lu Liang, a newcomer with promising record but an ego still too brittle. Your 5-man leaders notice the tension before you do. Lao Yan murmurs, they've been circling each other for days. This is gonna break into something if we don't step in. You approach just as the argument cracks open. You talk like you've seen war, but you weren't there when the river boiled with bodies. I don't need your memories, I follow formation better than you ever did. Your unit goes silent. This is more than pride. If you let it, it'll break the line under pressure. How do you address the conflict? Confront them both with firm discipline, remind them a unit comes before ego, speak privately, mend the root, not the moment. Let your senior 5-man leaders handle it. Observe how your leadership evolves. Break the tension with harsh humor and raw truth. Remind them death does not care who argues louder. Let's mend the root problem. You draw them aside separately. Old wounds soften, new respect firms. The argument dissolves, but the lesson lingers. Your file watches how you carried yourself, how you set limits, how you choose to guide or cut through conflict. It shapes how they will follow you when orders become screams and formations twist into chaos. Tonight, the fire burns low. Your 10 settle into a rough shorthand glances. The beginnings of trust are earned. The weeks of drilling forged new rhythms in the camp life. Your 10 moved to cleaner steps. Your 5-man leaders begin to sound like officers. The raw chaos of the river battle becomes a memory, scarred but steady. One evening, you leave the training terraces. A familiar voice cuts across the way. Still alive, I see. You see Jin Wei, bandaged arm, confident smirk, still wearing the insignia of a 10-man leader. He steps closer, boots scraping on packed earth. I watched you fight that commander, he says. You made a mess of it, but you won. A sharp grin. Guess we're climbing the same ladder now. He tilts his head, studying you. So tell me, do you think you're ahead of me, or were you just lucky at the river? How do you answer him? Luck had nothing to do with it. We both stood our ground, that's all that matters. I'm ahead, catch up. If you're ahead, I'll catch you. The battlefield decides again, we'll see. We both stood our ground, that's all that matters. The rival snorts softly, maybe, but next time, try not to steal all the dramatic moments. He gives one final nod. Next time we march, try not to die before I beat you to promotion. He turns and walks off in the torchlight. A week later, drills continue. Your formation sharpens. Your 10 begin to look like a true unit. One morning, as fog clings to the terraces, a runner stops before you. 10-man leader Babel builder, Captain Cal Rinhai requests your presence. Your file watches you leave. Cal Rinhai waits on the ridge overlooking the drill fields. His cloak moves in the wind. He doesn't turn when he hears you. Your unit changed. He watches the drill fields below. Fewer flinches, cleaner movement, less noise on their feet. He then looks at you. You killed a commander at the river. That is noted. His eyes hold yours, and a cold assessment of a man who's watched 1,000 promising officers die in the mud. Do you know what that means? Killing an officer. A beat pauses. First real engagement. He doesn't wait for an answer. Talent for violence. It's useful, but dangerous. I buried more gifted killers than I promoted. They charge when they should hold. They hunt glory instead of victory. And they all die young. He waits to see if you'll say something. You don't. He seems to approve of that. Then, quieter. But what matters more is this. Your 10 follow you with trust that cannot be ordered. He walks a few steps forward, watching the other units train. I've seen officers rise fast and burn out faster. I do not want that for you. He then turns fully. Tell me, what makes a leader last? How do you answer him? Keep men alive, give clear orders when the world collapses, knowing when to hold and strike back, understand people as much as formations, when to hold and when to strike back. Boy, we're becoming more aggressive, I've noticed. Careful with that one, he says. Most officers learn half of it and think they know both. He looks at you a while longer, then back at the drill yard. Keep working your 10. We'll see what you're made of when the horn sounds. He walks back to the ridge. The limp is still there, a little worse in the cold. Months pass. Seasons shift across the terraces. Your 10 drill until their muscles burn, until your chosen formation lives in their bones. Kalrinai watches from a distance. Rival officers sharpen their own files. Rumors of new fronts move through the camp. Then, one cold morning, you hear the horns again. War horns. Long, steady call that means the army's moving out. Your men gather outside your quarters. Packs ready, armor shaped. Faces hardened by months of discipline and memory. Some were river survivors. Some were raw newcomers you hammered into soldiers. Now they stand as one file. Your file. Before you lead them to the mustering yard, they wait for your words. How do you address them in the morning the army marches again? We train for this, stand firm. We survive the river, we'll survive whatever waits. Watch for openings, we strike smart, not wild. Hold nothing back. Yeah, this, like, our whole Crescent thing is like, they will break upon us and then we will end them. Watch for openings, we will strike smart, not wild. The enemy expects charging idiots, berserkers, meat for the grinder. You tap your temple, but we're not that. We think, we watch. We find the moment their formation cracks, and then we drive the blade deep. Their eyes sharpen. Kill clean, think fast, stay alive. That's the order. The horn sounds again, long, steady, unmistakable. Your 10 fall into step beside you. No longer recruits, no longer scattered survivors. A formation shaped by blood, discipline, and long months that forge them into something more. You lead them towards the mustering yard. Their footsteps match your own. The Chronicle turns a page. Here for now, the ink pauses, the lantern light fades, the drums of the 7 states echo across the dark. Your 10-man unit marches towards the next campaign, the Chronicle waits for the hand that will write it next. Thanks for playing, there's more to come. More officers to recruit, promotions to earn, battlefields to conquer. In the full game, you'll earn more traits, develop tactical doctrine, build a reputation, and equip new weapons. Each comes with a cost. The war continues with your support. I have to say, I really enjoyed this one. A bit of a choose your own adventure, I suppose. When I first looked at it, I kept thinking, where's the gameplay? But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Let me know what your thoughts were about it. This is just a demo on Steam. You can pick it up and try it yourself. If you do, I'd be curious to see how your story was different than Babel's story. Beyond that, I think this is one that we'll probably look at in the future at some point. I'm definitely going to add that to my wish list. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like on the video. That helps me a ton. If you're not subscribed, I hope I've earned your subscription. I'd love to have you back. If you'd like to support the channel, you can always leave a super thanks here or join me live for a super chat. Check out the channel memberships or the Patreon linked in the channel info. All right, get out there, my 10-man file. I'll see ya on the battlefield. Babel out.